This is the season of the year when the National Assembly, that's the both chambers, the Senate and the House of Reps usually get busy doing what they do almost on a yearly basis. That's the consideration of the budget usually presented by the presidents of the country. As we know, all the heads of the various departments, agencies and ministries will have to appear before the various standing committees to first of all talk about the performance of the outgoing budgets, then also defend why they deserve to get certain amounts in the budget that will come in the following year. We've had that in the last almost 1 month that MDAs have appeared before the various committees, and in the next few days they will round off that exercise. I'll be talking about that briefly. I'll also talk about plans by the federal government to reintroduce a bill which has become very controversial. That's a plan to regulate the social media. I know right now there is a bill already in the Senate which at this time last year passed the second reading, but because of the strong opposition from Nigerians and interest group, it was suspended. But we're not so sure if that bill will be revived to address what the federal government thinks may be in the interest of the entire country. This is Inside the Red Chamber with Freddy Tua. I know I've not been here for a while, but I'm back to update you on recent happenings that you may not be privy to. But I think by the time we round up this program, you'll be glad you tuned in. I'll be back shortly. Welcome back from that short break. Like I told you, in the past we used to have this very vibrant budget defense session where you have heads of MDAs coming to defend their budgets, and they were usually very scared because serious questions will be asked, revelations will be made, and people will be exposed who may have committed some form of financial fraud or the other. But that vibrancy so far has been missing in the ongoing budget defense conducted by the various committees of the Ninth Senate. You may ask why. If you recall vividly what the Senate President will always tell you, that they are on the same page with the executive, which, if you know very well, is a big strength to law. And it's also a product of a system we've seen of late, at least for the last 2 years, where the various standing committees do not go on regular oversight like we used to have. The National Assembly, as you know, it has the power of appropriation. It also has the power of oversight. It means when they make budget, they should monitor how the funds are spent by the various MDAs. Unfortunately, we've not had this. In recent past, we've not had a case where senators go on oversight. They tell Nigerians what is on ground and why certain things should be done the right way. Instead, what we've seen is a system where the Senate President will repeatedly tell Nigerians that we cannot fight with the executive, sometimes invite ministers, they flout their invitation, sometimes even ask for certain things and nobody obliges. And you begin to wonder if we still practice a system where there is separation of power and also checks and balances, which is at the fulcrum of any democracy. But that's what we've seen recently, and I'm not sure how long this will go on for, but we are hoping that when this budget is passed, that going forward, the various committees of the Senate will most forceful to demand for accountability from various heads who by law are supposed to account to the various committees of the Senate. I'll be back shortly again to brief you on the second aspect of what we'll discuss today. Last year, a senator from Niger State, Senator Musa, sponsored a bill, and you can tag it an anti-social media bill. Another one was sponsored by another senator from the same Niger State, Sabi Abdullahi, on hate speech. The two bills were meant to, if passed eventually of course, were meant to control the social media and also restrict what they term as hate speech or fake news. But fortunately for the two sponsors of the various bills, it did not get the needed support from the Senate, even from the House of Reps, who at the time said they were going to oppose it when it was referred to them. Although the bill passed through a second reading, it even went for a public hearing, the opposition was so strong at a point that the Senate President, despite his body language supported his passage, had to cave in and that bill was suspended. Now, 1 month after the Lekki shooting, which there are still various accounts of what happened, some saying that there were killings, others say it was not true, that nothing of such happened, there is a call that the social media should be regulated. Unfortunately, again, it's coming from the government circle be championed by the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed. In this argument, he believes that if we don't regulate the social media, that fake news may cause more harm than good. Now, they cannot do that through a fiat or just through an executive order. It has to pass through the National Assembly, which has about 109 senators and 360 members of the House of Reps. Now, the question is the National Assembly, which is to be on the side of the people, willing to pass a law that will restrict the freedom guaranteed in the Constitution of Nigeria, which gives freedom of speech? There's an existing law on cybercrime, which means when you peddle fake news or something that is false, the law stipulates how you should be tried, and if found guilty, you'll be jailed. Now, the argument is this: either the existing law already passed by the previous government, why push for another one to restrict Nigerians from airing their views? And the other argument is, how would they do that? Would they shut down the social media platforms? Would they work with the social media giant to ensure that what Nigerians post are kind of censored to avoid what they term as fake news? Is that what they tend to do? Or could it also be that they will arrest people who they feel are very critical of the government? Another argument could be, what if I'm somewhere in the UK and I post what they term as fake news? How would they term what I do? There are questions upon questions, but no one is providing answers. All we hear is that social media will be regulated. We are still waiting. Maybe when the Senate resumes just a week from, a little above 1 week from now, we will see how that will pan out. We'll also see if they will cave into pressure from the executive arm to go ahead and ensure that the social media is regulated to protect those in government, so to say, and also those who feel that the social media is like a loose cannon that, if not properly guided, can cause a serious national upheaval that the government of the day may not be able to control. I won't bore you like I promised earlier, so I'll stop here. Rest assured that before you wake up, probably next week or the other one, I'll be back here to give you recent updates as National Assembly is set to resume after about a 1 month break, considering the budget presented by President Muhammadu Buhari. See you next time.